Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a short version podcast talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Today is Tuesday, December 17th. And, well, we have a lot to get into on today's show, but we'll fit it all into around 10 minutes. Excited about doing that. And I want to talk about Miguel Perez, a bullpen coach the Pirates promoted, and what I think he could add to the team. Talk about the Steelers and injuries and George Pickens and TJ Watt. We'll get into all of that. But the lead topic this morning, I want to talk a little Penguins. Haven't checked in on the Penguinos in a little bit. Some interesting stuff happening. Not all of it good, actually. Marcus Pettersson and his injury. I want to discuss the impact of that, as well as some big picture implications as they relate to President of Hockey Operations Kyle Dubas. But first, want to remind you that this show is brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates. If you're injured in an accident, you're probably wondering what's next. For over 40 years, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped injury victims answer that question. Whether it's gathering evidence, collecting medical records, or dealing with insurance companies, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped over 75,000 people handle what's next. Call 1-800-94-EDGAR or visit edgarsnyder.com for a free consultation. And remember, there's never a fee unless they get money for you. All right, so things have actually been going pretty well for the Penguins. Haven't talked about them on First 10 a whole lot. Split the recent Canadian road trip in Montreal and Ottawa. They've actually won 6 of 9, 6-2-1 over that stretch. But it's kind of not all rosy, right? The Marcus Pettersson injury scares me. It scares me because what it means for the shakeup on defense. It scares me for what it means when it comes to long-term planning and what Kyle Dubas might be left to maneuver, how he might want to handle trades, that sort of thing. But in any case, it happened on Saturday night. Pettersson kind of tumbled awkwardly into the boards. It was a push from Drake Batherson from the Senators. He's got a lower body injury. He's going to be week to week. Mike Sullivan said that yesterday. So what does that leave the Penguins with, or with what does that leave the Penguins? Right now, it looks like Owen Pickering next to Kris Letang on the top pair. Second pair, Matt Grzelcyk and Erik Karlsson. A little worried about that one. And Ryan Graves and Ryan Shea. There's some question marks there for me. And just running down the list, Owen Pickering, can he continue what he's done in a rookie season? I hope so. It's probably the pair I'm most confident in at this point. Kris Letang, honestly, has actually been pretty good. 5 goals in his last 7 games. By the way, leads all defensemen in goals since November 30th. That second pair, no. It has not been good. Matt Grzelcyk, the Penguins are continuing to try to shoehorn him into a top 4 role, and no. And I don't have a better option. The other option is Ryan Graves, where I want to believe that that's possible, but I know in the back of my mind it's not. But Grzelcyk and Karlsson, they spent 3 games together earlier this season. Was not good. The Penguins lost all 3, 2 in regulation. The expected goals share was about 38%, 39%. It was bad. Karlsson has meshed well with Marcus Pettersson. I don't know if I want to entrust Owen Pickering to do that. There's just not really a good replacement. And that's what scares me as far as comprising defensive pairings. If you want to look at another aspect of the Penguins, pivoting away from the defense, this interests me. And you can look at this 2 different ways. I think you can look at this as a glass half full, glass half empty. Sid has not scored a lot. I believe it's now 9 games without a goal. Evgeni Malkin has 1 in his past 15. Well, the Penguins are winning despite not getting much scoring from the big boys. Does this mean there's more depth scoring? I don't know. Philip Tomasino has added a little bit. Brian Rust has been, Brian Rust. Blake Lizotte has been very, very good. So, I mean, they've gotten contributions from other places. Could the Penguins continue their ascent if they can get some from 87 and 71? Possibly. But again, it worries me about the defense, what we've seen in front of Tristan Jarry this season. I hope it's all for naught. I hope they're able to figure it out. But if you look at their roster, there's not really a replacement available for Marcus Pettersson right now. And then if you take that one step further, what does that mean for Kyle Dubas in the trade deadline? Now, this is probably over-dramatizing things a little bit. I don't think it's that serious. I mean, if you're week to week, he should be back in plenty of time by March 7th. Not a big deal. And Marcus Pettersson remains a trade chip. But I think it's a fascinating question with this team right now. What did they do? You can make an argument that Tristan Jarry's played a lot and he's played actually pretty well to trade him. The minute you get a bite The minute somebody shows interest, do not lose focus on the long-term goal. You could also make the argument that you owe it to Crosby, Malkin, and Letang to try to go for it this season and to not trade away your assets. And it's easy to answer that question, I feel like, when they're 6-2-1 in their last 9. Now, there have been volatile spikes, right? A couple weeks ago when I was in New York, that was a very, very bad game, but then they bounced back the next night against Toronto. So if they can get some traction, I can see the reasoning behind sticking this out. But just some interesting things going on with the Penguins, and I'm not sure which way they will go in the Pettersson injury, given how steady he's been, how much he's meant on the PK. The lack of available options behind him definitely worries me. All right, a couple more topics, but first, a message from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. This time, of course, it will be read by yours truly. Are you ready for an escape from the everyday? The Bradenton area on Florida's west coast is welcoming visitors. Our world-famous beaches are being restored to their pristine states. Beloved island businesses are bouncing back faster than expected, and our signature Floridian cuisine is just as fresh as ever. Don't wait. Start planning your visit today at BradentonGolfIslands.com. So in addition to bouncing back from that wacky loss to the Eagles, one that I'd probably call more of an aberration than anything. I don't think that's you have to wear it. You can't just shove it aside. But I don't think it means the Steelers stink as a team. I think it means that they drove across the state and stunk in Lincoln Financial Field. They're going to have to move on and bounce back and answer and all the other cliches that you're hearing against Baltimore on Saturday, obviously. But to do that, you need healthy guys. And that's a pretty big question with the Steelers right now. And it's a philosophical question that I've been debating, thinking about in my head. Do you rush these guys back and get them on the field at M&T Bank Stadium on Saturday, or do you slow play it? I don't think it's an either or kind of thing. I've been around this stuff long enough to know it's not just, oh, well, yes, you do it. No, you don't. No, there's special cases. And so I want to work through some of the nuance there. I think George Pickens is the more valuable of the two. And we're talking about George Pickens and TJ Watt. Obviously, there are other injuries. Larry Ogunjobi with the groin, Dante Jackson with the back, Deshaun Elliott with the hamstring, and Justin Fields with the abdomen. Not the biggest thing. I think the ones you look at, TJ Watt because of his status, clearly, and his ankle, and George Pickens and his hamstring. It's tough. It's really tough. Because on one hand, I want to say, if you're healthy enough to give me anything, you play. You got to prioritize the AFC North. Get in there. I don't care what else happens. The job's to win the division. And that seems like the way Mike Tomlin is going. But I understand the argument for sort of keeping one eye to the future, which is why I think I might seek out the nuance here. If guys are good enough to play and not hurt themselves, probably more of a question with George Pickens. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try to play a doctor, but the reemergence of soft tissue injuries seems a little bit more concerning. But again, I'm not looking at TJ Watt's ankle, so we'll see. Bottom line, if these guys are, and I don't know what my threshold would be, but it'd be about 85, 90%, something like that. If they're above that, I'm okay with it. If they're below that, I'm also okay sitting them out and waiting. I think there needs to be sort of a nuanced approach here. I think there needs to be coaches, team staffers, doctors, they know those guys best. Because I think the question the Steelers need to answer here coming out of this game, what they can't have happen is have these guys unavailable for Kansas City, Cincinnati in the playoffs. So however you get there, if you can get there safely by having them play on Saturday, great. That's the goal. If you can get there safely by having them play in a limited capacity on Saturday, great. I'm there. But what I don't want to see is them forced into the lineup, which I don't think they will be. And, if they're trying to force their way into the lineup, I hope cooler heads prevail, and I think they will. I think as much as what Mike Tomlin said publicly yesterday was taken a certain way, I also think he understands the gravity. His professional livelihood and how people form opinions, they're driven off of that, right? He doesn't want to lose a playoff game. He's not looking to go into a playoff game without George Pickens and TJ Watt. He's got to be aware of that. So again, it's not binary. I use that word. It's not just, 0 or 1. There's a lot of nuance to this stuff, but you probably have to establish a line, probably have to get a lot of opinions. You want to try to get them out there if you can. And the fact of the matter is, what is it, Tuesday? We don't know. We don't know. So it's going to be a lot of things to discuss, and I'll be curious to see where it goes. I would try to get them on the field, but I wouldn't do it in a stupid way. All right, want to finish with some thoughts on the Miguel Perez promotion for the Pirates, promoting him to bullpen coach. I've dealt with Miggy quite a bit over the years, have a very high opinion of him. Has done a great job with AAA Indianapolis, with AA Altoona. This actually feeds into something, sort of a dichotomy with the Pirates this offseason, where I think they've made some pretty good coaching hires. There's been stuff that has irritated the daylights out of people, and I certainly understand it. And I've criticized it, and we've had lots of conversations about this. But, you can say what you want about retaining Derek Shelton. You can say what you want about retaining Ben Cherington, whatever. But like Brent Strom objectively is a very smart pitching guy. I think that came through when he talked to local reporters on Zoom. Miguel Perez is a very smart baseball guy, extremely well respected in that clubhouse. The path that he's done this the hard way. Coaching career began all the way back in 2014. Spent some time grinding in the minor league systems with the Pirates, the Reds, the Nationals, the Guardians. Was a catcher. He's always done this the hard way, and I mean that in a complimentary way, but has worked his way each year a little bit more through the Pirates system. He's really close with a lot of guys on the team now. If you look at, O'Neal Cruz, I guess would be first and foremost, but Jack Sawinski and a lot of that group that came through together. I could, Liover Peguero, Ji-Hwan Bae, maybe not as impactful, Jared Triolo, even Henry Davis to a degree. Like he's had a lot of these guys in the minor leagues. He's very smart. And I think it's an interesting delineation of duties where clearly Miggy is not a pitcher. He was a catcher by trade, and it gives kind of a different look. Brent Strom's more of the pitching addition. He'll be in the dugout, but how guys get ready in the bullpen. And also, I'm not diminishing the role of Miguel Perez, certainly, but let's not overstate the importance. Well, I don't want to say it that way, but a bullpen coach and a pitching analyst or a pitching coach, they're different things. But bottom line, I think it's a plus for the Pirates to have Miguel Perez around because of his personality, because of his overall knowledge of the game, because of his relationship with Cruz. Frankly, that's somebody that Cruz confides in a lot. I think it's a plus for the Pirates. All right. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can all of these videos and much, much more. No first 10 tomorrow, but we will be back at it on Thursday. Going to switch to a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday schedule. I'm doing some reworking of my columnist schedule, and that's a part of it. So, we'll talk to you Thursday. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get a whole bunch of content here. Thanks for checking out First 10, everybody.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.